Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this Livingston County Board Thursday, January 16th meeting to order, please. Call to order, or I'm sorry, already did that. I would like to also notice and please tell everyone to please silence their phones during this time, during this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Ritter. Thank you, Mr. Ritter. We will have, I will call Mr. Reverend Charles Ambrose up here for the invocation, please.
Good evening. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father, in Jesus' name, we just thank you for this evening. We thank you for this county board and those attending, Lord, and we just pray your precious blood to be over this meeting, Father, and grant them wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Father, to go forward with the decisions to be made. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by me due to Mr. Vietti has had an unfortunate incident. If anyone would like to go visit him, he is at Even Glow, room 140. He would probably appreciate the visits. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call please, Christy.
Carly. Weller. Here. Ambrose. Here. Mays.
Here.
Lovell. Here. Bitston. Here. Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Here.
Runyon.
Here.
Killian.
Here.
Wilkie.
Here.
Kirkton.
Here.
Vietti. Bunning.
Present.
Slagle.
Here.
Manker. Here. Station.
Present.
Schaefer.
Present.
Bannon.
Present.
Kestner.
Here.
Ritter.
Present.
Arbogast.
Here.
Berrickman.
Here.
Allen. Here.
Okay, you have the agenda before you. Need approval for that? Or motion, I'm sorry, Ritter. Second. Manker. Oh, I'm sorry, with yours.
Item B is...
Yes, item B on the Highway Committee has been scratched, so that's, yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot that.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
I would like to make that motion with changes to item B.
I'll second that.
Okay, who's second? Gerald? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, approval of the minutes. I believe we have, is it just, yeah, just the one, okay. I was thinking, okay, Blackard and Manker, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, thank you. Down to presentations, we have the STEM, LACC, GLC, EDC. Would you like to come forward, please?
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Good to be before you again this evening. As you recall, we've done a number of grants by way of your participation to area schools, including Woodland, Prairie Central, Livingston Area Career Center, and District 429. We like to bring all of them in on a regular basis as updates so we can hear about the progress that they're making. Not only with their curriculum and professional development, but with their outreach to the business community and the increased participation by the business community with schools. And so tonight's presenter is Tara Graves from the Livingston Area Career Center, and she has some meaningful updates, particularly on donations and enhanced participation by employers in the community with the LACC. So here she is.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As Adam mentioned, I'm Tara Graves. I'm the Career Center Director, and I'm excited to share. I did send a PowerPoint, which I think all of you have. So I'm going to actually step back so I can see it. So I'm excited to share kind of some updates as to where we are. We are always looking for, we serve 6 high schools in Livingston County, juniors and seniors. We are always looking for opportunities to partner education along with application of what they are doing. So our programs are very hands-on. So we have some updates here that I would like to share with you. So, in working with all of our businesses, we're always looking at curriculum updates. We have roundtables, things that we are looking to bring people in to ask, are our programs in line? Through those conversations, we've worked with Caterpillar for a while on some of those curriculum updates, those roundtables. But some updates in the spring of last year, Caterpillar and I sat down and they were looking to run a summer internship program. So that wasn't open just to our students, but it was open to people other than just students at the Career Center. But our students did have the opportunity to apply for that summer internship program. Through that program, we had 6 students that went through an interview process with them. So the students had to apply online. They had to interview with a panel of members from Caterpillar in order to get that internship opportunity. We had 6 that were chosen for that. They attended a 6-week summer program that started right after they got out of school. It started at 7 a.m. and ran to 3 o'clock. So they had to be up bright and early and at Caterpillar, and they were there. The students showed up every day. They worked really hard. It was Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday, they did a lot within the facility. That was designated for job shadows, work training within the facility, and Fridays were travel and tours. So they took all of these young people on tours so they could see the opportunities within Caterpillar. Here are some of those opportunities they had that you can see on these slides. They built, the first set of slides is engine building. They did that within the facility. Those young people got to experience some of the things that we just don't have access to within our organization. They took a tour to Decatur and to the Mapleton tour. So I will tell you, I didn't realize how big a Caterpillar vehicle was until I saw some of these pictures, nor did those young people. So those were some of the tours they took. The summer internship from there went to the visitor center in Peoria as well. After the summer internship, there was a celebration at the end of that. So we got the opportunity, along with their parents, to come to Caterpillar and recognize those students that had went through that program. They were very excited to have been in the program, to have been successful through that. Then after that, those students, along with other students, had an opportunity to apply for the co-op program. So we run a co-op program where the students come to school during the day and they're released for part of the day to go to work. So we have 2 of those 6 students did join the co-op program and are out at Caterpillar's facility working part of the day now. So that summer internship really did transition for a few of those students. So that was what we did in the summer. Then in this fall, we then sat down at the end of the summer after that celebration, and it had been so successful. We wanted to continue to grow that partnership, and what were some other things that we could do. We have a manufacturing class on the books, but we have not had enough student interest to run that course. So all of our courses are based on student enrollment, whether it's welding, automotive, law enforcement. Every one of our programs that we have 16 programs, they are enrollment based, so whether they run or not. We have not had enough students to run a manufacturing specific course. So that was one of the things through this program we hope to do, is just build that interest and show how many job opportunities there are in this county within the manufacturing field. So after that summer internship program, we sat down and worked on how could we take the students we already have and just start to generate some of that interest. Because any of you who have teenagers know the best way to get anything through a teenager is not through an adult, but it's through their peers. So what we were really hoping was just to get them out, expose them to some of the manufacturing, and get them to talk to each other. So what we did is we took our current welding program first semester, which we've just ended. There were 26 students in there. They went out to Caterpillar on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And you can see some of the slides up here of those students this semester. They went twice a month, all first semester. You can see some of the topics that they covered. Those were things that we just wouldn't have access to within our facility. We've been very fortunate through donations and things to upgrade our equipment, but it still is very different than going and seeing a plant in action. So they really got to go out and experience some of those things. Those 26 students have a very different perspective of manufacturing now than they did at the start of the semester in August. So it was a great experience for them to get out there and see what the manufacturing world is all about. From there, we are now in spring semester, which is very hard to believe that we are in January already. We are now targeting some of our automotive and diesel technology students. So in the past, we've had a automotive program that did mostly general automotive. We had a new instructor come on this year, and we really looked for someone who had some of that diesel background, because in a farm community, that is definitely something that we can help to grow. So now we're partnering with Caterpillar this semester with our automotive students. So 40 students are enrolled in the automotive program. They will take a tour here next week. Actually, all of those students will be going through the plant. And there are 12 of those students that are really interested in learning more about the automotive through Caterpillar. So those students will do similar to our welding students first semester. They will go out Wednesdays and Thursdays twice a month to get some exposure and learn some of the things from those experts in the field that are at Caterpillar at this time. So that's where we are with the automotive class. We are very excited. Caterpillar also is with moving the automotive program from a general automotive to a diesel program. One of the big things that we are lacking is equipment. Any of you who have experience that know the equipment the engines are different. And so Caterpillar, we've just finalized they are making a donation of a C15 engine that is going to be showing up very soon. The students are incredibly excited. The instructor is actually even more excited than they are. So that will help us grow that program. And then those students going out there are actually going to get to see things in our shop that they are seeing out in the field. So that's very exciting. We are working on summer internships again. So one of the things that I put on here was lessons learned. The program we had started, it was fairly late in the school year. School time and real business time kind of are different. We have ends and starts that we have to catch our students within. So one of the lessons we learned last year was to start that application process a little earlier so we could get more of those students into that summer internship program. So actually I just talked with Caterpillar this week. That internship is getting ready to go up so we can have students apply for that. As I said, they have to apply and interview just like other people would. They have to go through the process. So it's a great learning experience for even those students that don't get the internship. They still learn those interview skills. And then we are hoping for 2021, which seems crazy to know that is coming, to then have more of those students go into the co-op program as well, do their co-op time out at Caterpillar. And the biggest hope is that in 2021, potentially have enough student interest to run a manufacturing specific course. So that is where we are at. One of the things that I would just like to leave with, and before I take questions, is as this is my 25th year in education, and I know what it's like to watch a student find that moment, that time, that opportunity that makes a difference for them. It's a pretty impactful thing to watch. What I'm excited to see is that programs like this, partnership with Caterpillar and other businesses, you can see those things happening. I put up here, don't underestimate the impact you have on someone's life. There is one of these students specifically that through this program really found what he wants to do. He was one of the 6 students in the internship. He's one of the 2 students that's doing the co-op program. He has a very clear path of what he wants to do, where he wants to be. He wants to stay in this community. He wants to work in this community. He's really hoping to get full-time employment. They are working with him to do that. He is a completely different student now as we approach the spring semester of his senior year than the spring semester of his junior year. And it's because this let him see what we've always seen, which was his ability to do some things. But by partnering with that business, he's seen the application of all those things he's been learning and sees an opportunity within his community to stay here and be a part of what happens in Livingston County. So that's a lot of information. I talk very fast, I know. Are there any questions for me?
Director Graves, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for presenting this information. Thank you for what you guys are doing with the kids. The question I have is, for lack of better terms, the nuts and the bolts to put together the manufacturing class. Would we be seeing an educator from the Career Center teaching that, or do we see possibly reaching out to the manufacturers in our area to have an instructor to do that? And then the other question I have is, what else could we do to engage students from the outside community in manufacturing to get kids into that class? Because clearly with things like our building trades class and things that we've had on the books and we've done and things have been, one of the things is if they're not seeing it all the time, they're not tending to go into those classes. And so I'm just curious, is that something we're looking at as well?
So to the first point, so the Career Center is, as I said, juniors and seniors in high school. All of my instructors have come from industry. It is a requirement to teach in the Career Center that you have at least 2,000 hours within the field. So the reason for that is that they bring that experience to teach the content as well. So actually we've already talked with Caterpillar and some others about those that have experience. So it does not have to be someone who's come through a teaching education program. So for example, my automotive instructor that I just hired, he is teaching on a provisional teaching license. He has a teaching license just like I do, but it is specifically just to teach automotive and diesel technology with those hours. So what we would do is look for someone with that background to be able to provide that. That class we're hoping will take place as in combination between Caterpillar's plant and with the Career Center as well. So that way we can really bring together, we just don't have the physical space for the big equipment that takes place there. To the point of enrollment, what we are really hoping is this is generating some interest. I will say, in taking a tour of Caterpillar myself, it is amazingly clean, and that is what every student who comes back from the tour says. So by the end of this year, we will have 60-some students who've been there and have had exposure that then share with their friends and I think that with anything, you referenced construction trades. We've not had construction trades since the housing market dropped. What happened is the housing market dropped and the class slowly just died off because there was a concern, are there jobs out there? So part of what we try to do is educate. There are jobs, there's a workforce need. That is a lot of the things that we're trying to partner to show how many jobs in Livingston County in manufacturing are there, so that parents know that as well. The young man I referenced, he doesn't want to go on to college. He felt like that was a wrong choice, that just going to the workforce had that just that I just put in there. And so we're trying very hard to realize and express to students and parents, there are a lot of different pathways and none of them are wrong. They're just different for what fits a person's interest.
I'd like to say thank you to you guys for doing this, because these careers mean something to kids. Kids don't all go to college. They never have. When they get out and do a job opportunity like this, they learn a lot. And I'm a guy that goes on vacation. You know what I like to do? I like to tour plants, see things made. So I appreciate everything you guys have done to get these kids involved in stuff like this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And egg programs across the county have done that. They're very active in coming out. Yep. Yep. Lots of them.
Yeah, I would like to thank you also. One point, what if we've had a student that maybe has graduated from high school, tried college, not happy? Is there a way that they can come back through the program at all?
So through us, we have, over the years, we do have a couple adult programs, but a lot of times I know we have a good partnership with Heartland Community College, and we try to work with that. We have run a welding class in the evening, an adult welding course. We run a CNA course as well. That is something that I'm excited. The Heartland and Pontiac, the director there now, we really are forging, are there some courses we can bring to the Career Center even in the evening that's open to adults? So we all really do see the need for that as well, because the more of them we can train and educate, the more opportunities there are. So that is, we've kind of touched on that, but we are definitely looking to grow that piece. Any other questions for me? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Graves.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Now we move down to the consent agenda, approval of bills, appointment, Samuel Schmidt-Golf of the Forest Strong Wing Fire Department, or Protection District.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Yes. Bunting and Fannin. Roll call, please.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller. Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Okay, now we're down to action agenda, committee reports. I'll turn the Highway Committee over to Mr. Lovell.
Madam Chair, we've got two items. Clay will come forward, or he's already up here. Local agency agreement for federal participation, and item C, appropriating matching tax funds. Clay?
Good evening. As you can see on our report, we have the first one is a federal aid agreement for a replacement in Long Point Amity Road District. It's a bridge, and this agreement is to get 80% funding for federal funding for this project. Included in that is a resolution, as mentioned, for the local share, which is actually split between the county and the two townships. So that's the first item. The second item is a resolution for the county matching tax fund. This is to build the bridge that we had talked about last month and pass an engineering agreement for. It's located on County Highway 34, and it is just north of Route 17, about 3/4 of a mile on 800 East. And this is to appropriate money from matching tax for design and for construction, so that we can do it all as one appropriation. Those are the two items that we have.
Do we have any questions? If there's no questions, I make a motion that we move these two items forward.
Second.
Gerald? Okay. Roll call, please. Gerald, Earing.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller. Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker.
Yes.
Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Bergman.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes the highway report for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lovell. Now we're down to Ag and Zoning Committee, Mr. Bunting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have no action items to bring before you tonight. Just to let you know, last Tuesday when we met, we went through the solid waste report. We did do a little worksheet for the hazard mitigation plan update to represent the county, and that's pretty much all we had. We reviewed the pending zoning cases. I would like to personally thank everybody from the board, my fellow board members that attended the farmland assessment meeting at 5:30 on Monday night, and then also the ones that showed interest in the proposed private airport going up out there in Sonneman. So we had a good attendance at the ZBA meeting on Monday night. We did not get all the way through it. I think we finished with testimonies. We were about to start with closing arguments. we're pushing that 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. time frame last Monday night, so we're recessed, and we are going to continue it on March 11th, if you want to put that on your calendars, to talk with that private airport there in rural Sonneman. Also, we do have an opening in the ZBA. We are looking for someone in District 2, preferably on the west side of District 2, so if anybody of my fellow board members have any names you would like to surface for either myself or Kathy, let us know, and we will see if we can't get the ZBA board filled. So we've got a full tenure of people. So that is all I've got, Madam Chair, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Jason? Okay, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Moving down to Finance Committee, Mr. Schaefer.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. A quick but worthwhile aside, wanted to say that 29 years ago at this date and at this hour, the gentleman to my left was in a dank in a desert a long way from here. While confident he would make it home, he certainly had no assurance that he would, and I'd like to think that we would recognize his service with a little round of applause. Tough guy. Our business, not in the desert, here locally, is that we have 7 police cars that we'd like to dispose of. They've gone through the service, they're rotated out. I'd like to make them available for sale. We had previously done this strictly through auction. At this time, I'd like the board's approval that we do it first through a sealed bid effort to try to get a little more out of them. Quite frankly, they don't do that well at auction. So we're going to try to get a little more out of them by first going sealed bid and second by auction. So I would motion that we be allowed to do that.
Okay, a second by Bunting. Roll call, please.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller. Yes. Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fittstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker. Yes. Steichen.
No.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Allen. Yes.
Okay, the last few years, at this time of year, our working cash, we have to borrow from other of our own sources because of our annual insurance premium for the whole operation comes due. That is sizable, as you can see by the ask. And so I would motion that working cash fund transfer be made so that we can pay our premium.
I need a second. Gerald? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Guess it would help if I turned my mic on. Weller. Yes. Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fittstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker. Yes. Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Allen. Yes.
Okay, last item is we do have one, and this is really the last one. Last year in transfer to close out last year, total of $4,500 that Diane needs to close out a couple of accounts. So I would motion that we be allowed to do that transfer.
Second? Kirkton? Roll call, please.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller. Ambrose.
Yes.
And Mays.
Sorry, yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fittstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yes.
Herring.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
Yes.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yes.
Manker. Yes. Steichen.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Allen. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Did you have a question? No, I Before I hand it over to Mr. Killian, I would like to remind the board to please make sure you are called on before speaking. It will not be tolerated if you are speaking without having the floor. And everyone has a chance to speak once until everyone has had their chance. Mr. Killian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it was about January 6th, we had a meeting. We called to order about 6:01. We were running a little bit late. We had Mr. Verdon come and give us his report on all of our buildings. He had a smart watt. That progress is going pretty well. He had a meeting and concerns with Johnson Controls on the contract. We usually pay about $10,000 a year. They want to raise it to $13,000. He's not so sure that it's worth it. We advised him to look into that contract. He just doesn't think we're getting $10,000 worth of training and stuff from them, so he was going to look into that. He went over all the repairs and stuff that we've had through all of these buildings. Out of the public safety, we've had some water lines that were copper, and we've replaced them with plastic. We've replaced the flag up on top of our beautiful courthouse, and we put new lights up there. Other than that, it's all been basic, just repairs. You can look up through here. The staff came in and cleaned all the bugs and varmints and debris out of the lights, and they do look very nice. Kind of a nice fall, winter job for them. And that's pretty much what we discussed. And then we had the ad hoc committee reported, and we just had another meeting at 5:15 this evening, and I don't think there's any real paperwork for anybody on it, but I would like to turn it over to our members of the ad hoc committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
The ad hoc committee has reviewed all the available buildings and their advantages and disadvantages, and is respectfully recommending to the county board, it's already been approved by property, to support eliminating the option of purchasing an existing building and focus its attention on building a new building on property that we already own, and focus the intention of the new building to savings and identifying, reducing costs and identifying energy efficiencies, form, function, and overall costs. As an example, simply moving the new building to the front of the current building on the property is going to be a significant cost savings. Also, changing the layout of the building to a simpler layout would also result in cost savings, and that's what we would like to concentrate on.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions for the
Or
ad hoc?
anybody else on the committee want to comment from the ad hoc committee?
I think Marty said it all.
Can you use your microphone, please, Ron?
Yeah. This is not to prove going ahead with any particular building or
No.
design or amount. It's
Nope.
just giving you direction to go.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Blackard?
Yes, just before we totally walk away from anything, I think we actually need to do this even further, and
Excuse me, hold it, Jim, hold on one second, please. We need a motion on this first and
I'm
a
sorry.
second, and then we'll have discussion.
So I guess I would be asking Marty, you were the spokesman for them, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make
or-
that motion that we take the findings of the committee.
Second.
Bannon and Weller.
Weller.
Now discussion.
Now discussion. Mr. Blackard.
thank you, Madam Chair. I think before we walk away from any of the options, we need a real, as it was discussed in the meeting, apples to apples comparison in which we look at some measurable thing that we can figure out which way would be better instead of just saying it'll cost a lot, because from the estimates I've seen, new construction costs a lot also. So I would rather have the ad hoc committee pursue getting real apples to apples comparison, which in my opinion would probably be dollars per square foot for the project.
Mr. Ritter?
Madam Chairperson, is it my understanding that we're to get a kind of an updated bid on what something would look like if we were to go that direction? And if that is so, then wouldn't that be essential or paramount to making the decision whether to go with an existing building or go new? Question.
This is the recommendation of the ad hoc committee.
What do I need to ask again? It's the question of the ad hoc committee. How's that?
Yes.
Yes, to the ad hoc committee, I asked that question.
I want to comment on that, please. Paul, we kind of looked at this, building was 5.6 million, the original building. We don't know what's going to cost to build a new building without telling them to go ahead. But they've told us it could be moved to the front of the property, which is a big savings. Make it a straight line building, which could be a savings. And also, the other question is, how much do you want to spend on reviewing other options yet, when you have to actually probably hire a contractor to tell you how much you're going to spend, how much it's going to cost you to refurnish a building? How much do you want to spend before we say that's enough?
Linda?
Zambros?
I was really excited about the Opperman building at first, and I went out and toured it, and as things have gone along, I feel there are too many unknowns to keep going down this path. As anybody who's remodeled your home knows, you keep discovering things, and that's what's happened here, and I think we would discover more problems as we went on. And I feel very confident in the ad hoc committee. They know we want to hold down the price, keep it a simple building. It's really time to move on and get a new H&E building. As Mr. Weller has pointed out, they've kicked this idea around for 40 years. We really need to show some initiative and move on and spend our money towards that, rather than more studies and surveys. That sounds too much like our government in Washington.
Thank you.
Bill, I
Mr.
saw
Wilkie?
your hand.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes, getting back to the costs and everything, Mr. Opperman has been very, very cooperative, and if we show him what we want, he will give us his upgrade and design and everything, and then give us a cost. At no cost to us until he gives us a price. So it's not like we're spending a lot of money. We're not spending anything. He's offered to put his building up the way we want it and then give us a cost on it.
Mr. Barrett?
For those of you that were present at the committee meeting just before, this might be a little bit of a reiteration, but as far as the cost savings of going with an existing building, this building, I believe, is 50, 60 years old, and the only reasonable way that I believe we can expect to have cost savings is if the board has appetite for doing some very minor renovations and purchasing at a seven-figure amount what is still a 50 to 60-year-old building. As a resident of the far northwest corner of this county, one of the few services that I have used here in Pontiac from the county has been the H&E building, and I think that's common, that a lot of people throughout the county use it. I think it's a very important facility. I think that it's a facility that deserves a long-term investment from the county, and I do not believe that, thinking that we're going to save a little bit of money by essentially accepting a 60-year-old building with known issues is a good investment by the county board. If we believe that we need a like new facility, I do not believe that there's cost savings by purchasing this building and renovating it. You're purchasing land, you're purchasing a building to gut, and the thing of value that you end up with is 4 walls and a roof. And I believe that we can build 4 walls and a roof on our own land at a lower cost with less risk. And so if the board's appetite is to own a 50 or 60-year-old building instead of an 80-year-old building or whatever the existing building is, then, you know, you can go down that road. It's my opinion that the H&E building deserves an investment from the county that is less than what was previously bid by Farnsworth, but provides us with a good, new, long-term facility that can provide these services to the county. I do not support anything that would end up with a renovated old building. It just does not settle with me. The cost of new construction, if you gut that building, is the same as doing the new construction inside a new building. That's all I got.
He's already spoke. Any other discussion from anyone else that has not spoke? Mr. Mays?
I kind of get the understanding that we're throwing the Opperman building out here for reasons, sewer and all that stuff. I voted no through the whole previous thing just because of the cost and that. If we go to a new building, we're going to start them cost all over again. The $18,000 and the whatever, $100,000. And when it seems like Mr. Opperman is going to be doing this for free, just to let us know what it's going to cost, whereas that's one of the major things we need to find out. What our ceiling is, which is obviously $7 million. We just don't know what the costs are. So I don't understand why we're throwing that out. We don't even know what it would cost, even though it's an old building.
Any other? Mr. Station?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I've heard a lot here tonight about cost savings and moving the building up to the front. That's the first I've heard of that. Maybe it's time that we find somebody else other than Farnsworth. They should have come to us with that a long time ago. I've heard board members say there's a lot of savings. I haven't heard how much. Can anybody put a number to that? Get a figure? Or I've heard guys talk about
moving the building. You talking about moving the building to the front of the property, Joe?
I'm talking about what I've heard tonight about cost savings. I haven't heard a number.
Cost
what that savings would be. I've heard numbers of 7.2 that we're approximately, I've seen the emails, we're $500,000 into it. Do we start over from scratch with a new building? Are we going to be $1 million into this new building before we even break ground? Is that 7.2 going to be the cost savings going to go to Farnsworth? I mean, it seems to me that that should have been one of the options that we talked about over a year ago when this started. Should have been talked about cost savings, and I'm just hearing about it now. I mean, I'm not on that committee. I'm not placing the blame, but we're supposed to be stewards of the taxpayers' money, and just now, a year plus into this, with no clear direction, and now we're talking about cost savings, seems to be a backward step in my opinion. Thank you. I yield back to you.
Cost savings moving the building to the front of the property was approximately $500,000. Moving the building to the front of the property was approximately $500,000 cost savings.
To the front of the building?
To the front of the property, really.
You got more.
Mr. Runyon?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I spoke quite a bit back in the committee room, and so I think everyone knows where I stand, so I'm not going to go over that again. I am also a realist. I can count votes. I know where this is going. So I'm going to try to concentrate on that aspect of it, where we're going from here forward. And I wanted to go back to the old proposal that was voted down that kept increasing every time something came forward. It went from $4.5 to $5.5 to $6.5 to $7.5 million. And part of that I found out after the fact was that some of the earlier figures, some of that stuff wasn't being included in the price, such as new furniture, demolition cost. So I would like to make a personal request here that when we start getting figures for this new proposal that's coming forward, that all those figures, or at least some figures that are doing that, will be included in that, so we're not knowing that, you know, not being hit at the end, well, we have to buy new desk and new furnitures and new filing cabinets, so that's gonna be an extra amount of money. We're gonna have to demolish the building and haul it away, and asbestos removal, that's gonna be, I'm at a personal request to try to figure all that in, so as we're going along and we're getting figures, we're getting actual figures, not figures that's gonna be automatically go up as we go along. And that seems like where a lot of the problem was, is that we weren't getting the actual figures, we were getting actual figures here, but not being calculated in what the final figure was gonna be. So that's all I'm gonna say, is I just hope that we can get actual figures, not just, you know, figures to lead us along.
Thank you. Any other discussion from anyone? Hold on. Other than, Mr. Slagle?
Thank you. I'm having a tough time with this. I think the Oberman offer is an offer I like. I mean, for $0, he's willing to give us a price and spec out what we'd get for that if we bought that package. I would have liked to seen like the same approach with Farnsworth with the last project. So I can see, if I had to bet, I would assume that the new building is going to come in a little more expensive than the Oberman building, but I can see how down the future it would be a new building with no latent problems underneath the hood. So I can see how that's probably the way to go, but on the other hand, I would like to see his price if it doesn't cost us anything, and if he doesn't mind doing that, knowing that there's no guarantee we're going to take his project. And as far as if we do move forward with the new building, in my head, I don't see why we can't do the whole project for $5.5 million, which is what's in the account right now. So in my head, that's the number. If somebody comes to me with a solution that's $5.5 million or less that fits the needs, that's kind of what I want to do. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else that has not spoke yet? Mr. Bunting.
I guess I want to personally thank Mr. Opperman for all the time and effort that you have put forth on this. I do know when we toured it in the fall, you answered every single question that all of us had there. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you did. My concern is going from a 1922 building south of town to a 1959 building. That is my concern. I'm not gonna pull punches. I'm not gonna do anything else. I am concerned with the sewer that we have there, whether there's an issue or not. That's all we've heard about here as of late. So I tend to agree one way or the other. We have a sewer concern we're going to have to deal with. That not only takes money, but that's also going to take time. We have sat here and discussed this. I've been on the board since January of 2015, and I know it's been talked about 4 to 5 to 10 years in front of that about doing something with this H&E building. I think it is time, and I am actually the one at admin last Thursday that made the motion to bring it to, had the ad hoc committee come and discuss the property tonight before the meeting and make a decision on it. It's time that we move forward. I think we owe it to our citizens of this great county that we find a building that is going to work for services, new or not, but it's time that we put this one to rest and we quit wasting time and energy on looking at the Opperman building. Again, John, thank you for everything, but I'm going to vote for this. Thank you.
I would like to add to Jason, we got to think of the employees out there. The building that they are in is not good, and it hasn't been good. We need to think of them. They're the ones that are important in this whole decision. So.
Madam Chair, I do want to add one thing. Jason was talking about the sewer, and there is a probability that with TIF funds that sewer could be redone by the city of Pontiac, but that would be possibly 2 years out if TIF funds are available. And what kind of disruption would that have on businesses being conducted out there would be a concern.
Thank you. Mr. Bertman?
Just one last thing to say about the design of the new building and the cost savings. As a person that works in real estate, I find it really kind of incredible that it took until now for people to speak up and say, well, what if we put that building in the front of that lot? And why do we get those cost savings? The reason we get those cost savings is the simple fact that the back of that lot is low ground, and that's where the water drains to. And so things like that is what makes it frustrating for me as a new person here. I've only been here 3 months, but frustrating for me as a person with real estate experience to say what was going on when those plans were developed. It's unfortunate that that money has been spent, and it kind of feels like water under the bridge to me right now because it was money poorly spent for a design that doesn't work and that was expensive and inefficient. And my hope moving forward is that we will approve the ad hoc committee's recommendation, and under new leadership here with the board, we will find a solution to build a more efficient building at a lower cost in the front of that lot where the existing building is that will serve the people of Livingston County for the next 80 years or however long the last building has been there.
Thank you, Mr. Bertman. We are now on, everyone has spoke that wanted to speak. If anybody else would like to speak that had already. Mr. Blackburn?
Do you want to talk again?
Anyone else? All right. There's been a motion on the floor. Roll call, please.
Carly.
Hold on, Christie.
You have to wait till after this vote.
No. I
No,
think she's
she-
got a question on the motion. Can you read the motion to us so we know, so everybody knows what they're voting for?
Okay.
Okay. It was a motion to approve the findings and the recommendation, which said that, recommended that the county focus its resources on identifying options for reducing the cost of the new building while balancing energy efficiencies, form and function, and overall costs. So it was to go with the new, let's see. The layout of the building would need to be changed to accommodate this, but a simpler building layout may also result, well, that's in cost savings
It's the findings and recommendation.
of what they had said.
The findings and recommendations, okay. Roll call, please.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
No.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
No.
Airing.
Yes.
Runyon.
No.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
No.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Bunting.
Yes.
Slagle.
No.
Manker.
No.
Steichen.
No.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Bannon.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
No.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Barrickman.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
15 ayes and 8 nays. Motion carries.
Okay, Mr. Killing, you have anything else? For the good of your report?
For the property committee, that is all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we move down to administrative committee. That would be myself. You have approval of travel expenses is for the UCCI Galena conference in July. I believe that's July, what's the dates, Alina?
26th through the 28th?
Yes. So I need a motion on that.
So moved.
Moved by Fannin. Need a second? Ritter? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Carly.
Yes.
Weller.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Mays.
Yes.
Lovell.
Yes.
Fitstum.
Yes.
Blackard.
Yeah.
Airing.
Yes.
Runyon.
Yes.
Killian.
Yes.
Wilkie.
No.
Kirkton.
Yes.
Vietti. Oops. Bunning.
Yes.
Slagle.
Yeah.
Manker.
Yes.
Dyson.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
Fannin.
Yes.
Kestner.
Yes.
Ritter.
Yes.
Arbogast.
Yes.
Berrickman.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes. Okay, I really have nothing else to add, so that ends my report. Next, Sheriff, Jail, and License Committee, Mr. Carley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met on January 7th. It was well attended by the Sheriff's Department. I appreciate their participation in the meeting. They were very well represented. We heard some interesting facts. Superintendent Inman advised us that the federal population at our prison is good, it's high, and we've been bringing in a significant amount of money this past month, $236,000 if I remember correctly. And that program is going well, and we've positioned ourselves well to keep a fair number of prisoners at our jail, okay? Deputy Hardiman, our animal control officer, was not there. He got a written report. He's retiring, so we're going to need to replace him. Lieutenant Hamilton gave a proactive report. They've been very busy, and we appreciate their work in this county, taking care of the many things they have to do. Sheriff had 2 points that he wanted to make. One was we now, and we may be the first jail in the state that has this capacity to actually draw blood in DUI cases. So dealing with the marijuana situation now and of course alcohol, there's a time limit of only 2 hours after the person's been arrested. And if they go to the hospital, many times there are more important emergency cases ahead of them, and they may not get blood drawn in that 2-hour time frame, and therefore the person that was arrested may get out of the charge. So now we have that capability with 24/7 medical service at our jail. We believe we are the first ones in the state to do that. Also, the sheriff indicated that they're looking for deputies, so they now are conducting the screening programs, and they have some difficulty maintaining our needed staff based on the fact that DOC's benefits are a little different than ours. So I encourage anyone, if you know someone that's interested in becoming a deputy, to please contact the sheriff's office and consider having them go out there and apply. That concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'll answer them. Thank you.
Madam Chair. Would it be okay if, I know that Livingston County Sheriff's Department made a run to Covanta Energy not this week, but last week, to drop off unused and unwanted medication for our county. Pontiac Police Department has been an incredible role player in this. Our county is safer because of that. And would it be okay if Lieutenant Hamilton were to give us kind of an overview of what took place, if that would be okay? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Come on up, Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you, guys. Just about the P2D2 program, Mr. Ritter and the students at the high school kind of got it up and running. We've been collecting the medication through those bins and disposals. I'm assuming most of you know about that. The thing that we've been working on getting one out of Walmart, possibly across the nation even. The thing that we recently had a meeting, and a couple of kids asked, what actually happens to the stuff at the end? And I guess we never really thought about our disposal of the medication. We've been over and made the run to Indianapolis several times, so I had suggested to Mr. Ritter that they would get a couple students to go with us on the run. So we loaded up about 1,500, 1,800 pounds of unused medication. Took a trip over there. I did tell the students that if you get stopped, the police ask you what you got in the back, just say about 1,500 pounds of medication. So anyway, great trip. I think the students had a ball. Any of you that ever get the chance, or if you're interested, if we make another run, it's really something to see. They take the medication and they heat it up basically, which causes fuel in the form of steam, which heats and does electricity throughout downtown Indianapolis, including the football stadium, the basketball arena. So a really neat program. I think they got to go in and maybe play with the crane. There's a crane that's probably as big as this room that grabs things and puts it over into the hot fire. But yeah, quite a program. We appreciate the support from you guys. We appreciate the support of the school. It sounds like we may have an internship program growing from the high school level, not college level. As Doc said, we're having a little issue getting some people hired. Maybe we start at a younger level. We get junior high to high school kids who think maybe that's something I want to do. I had really no interest in being a police officer until I got out of high school, but it was only because I had a real contact with the police in a good way. But anyway, anybody have any questions for me or for the Sheriff's Department?
Mr. Aaron?
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say, you guys are doing a great job. 1,800 pounds is unreal. And
thank you.
It's hard to believe, I think it's 3,100 people, or 31,000 people in Livingston County can produce that much stuff unused.
So, yes, sir.
Yeah, Jeff, do you guys have to, once it comes into your custody, is that federal law that you have to ensure it's in your custody? Why do you have to take it over there?
Yeah,
as
we
opposed to just
secure
calling Federal Express and shipping it over there?
Yes, sir. We secure it.
And
I know
that's-
from our standpoint, we have a very small amount. I know Cook County, they bring semis
Gotcha.
of it
Okay.
over. We have an enclosed trailer or a couple van loads
Thank you.
that we take over. So,
Cool.
yes, sir.
Jeff, would you mind introducing your special guest to the board, and then I have a comment after that?
I have my daughter, Ashley, with me. She's my ride-along tonight. She leaves for the U.S. Air Force in about 2 months She's pursuing a career in law enforcement as well, so she will have a badge on in about 8 months.
And actually, we are extremely proud of your father.
So, thank you. All right, and thanks for
Mr.
your
Mason.
support.
Mr. Mason.
Yes, sir.
You did say that there are other locations for the drop-offs now, other than the Sheriff's Department?
Yes, there's Pontiac Police, Dwight, Fairbury, and the county, state police. We're working on possibly getting some legislation because some of the rules the state has put into place doesn't allow for it to be at a Walmart or a Walgreens. And when we did we have a mobile unit that we took out to Walmart. And a lot of the people we talked to said they didn't mind bringing the medication to Walmart, but some people just don't feel comfortable walking into the Sheriff's Department or into a police department. So that kind of put a light on, and we thought, a lot of people, everybody has to go to Walmart. There's no way around it. So we're talking about trying to do the nice approach first with Walmart and Walgreens and some of those places. And if that doesn't work, we're talking maybe about going to Springfield and making it some sort of resolution or law, and kind of forcing their hand. But in the end, crime goes down because people aren't breaking into houses to steal medication if there's no medication. So, and it's not getting dumped in the water and things like that. So.
Jeff, wouldn't that be a security issue, setting something out at Walmart or something with?
It is, and we made some suggestions, maybe that it go right next to the pharmacy, inside the building, and put it on wheels, so at the end of the day, when the pharmacy closes, you wheel it back in, lock it up. The medication's not supposed to be controlled substances and things that go in that P2D2 box, so it's nothing compared to the OxyContin and all the stuff that's in the pharmacy. But yeah, that did come up that, we don't want it outside like a Salvation Army box. We want it to be secure. So, something like that, and also, have 24-hour surveillance on it if they did put it where it's a one-way box.
Absolutely, super.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, how long, you said like 1,500 pounds you took out in this haul?
Yes.
How long did it take you guys to collect all that? And secondly, was that all from this county?
Yes, it's all from Livingston County. We do it about once or twice a year, so this is about a year's worth. I think last year the guys went over and it was about 800 pounds. So I would say somewhere in the realm of about 1,000 to 1,500 a year is what we take in.
That's
and
a lot of bills.
That's just the sheriff's department. Pontiac, you know, and Dwight, a lot of times if we're going, we all go together, but this was a Livingston County Sheriff's run without the other police departments.
Wow.
And see, I think that also brings to the point of the cooperation between our law enforcement in the area. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, hey, we're going up to Covanta, it saves money for each of the offices, and so if everybody can load their material onto one, it's saving money, and I think it speaks volumes of the inter-cooperation between the different departments immensely.
Jeff, is there, can you take your old medication out to just the pharmacies and drop them off there, or is it?
I don't think they'll accept it. I
Okay.
don't think
I didn't know if that was an option.
I don't think they have a way to dispose of it, and they're not supposed to throw it in the garbage or,
Right.
or put it in the dumpster.
Okay.
I know that there's a company that goes around to some of the places and takes their medication out, but I don't think you can walk in and hand them medication. And fentanyl, I'm assuming, is one of the big reasons because it's so dangerous, and you wouldn't want that, you know, who knows what's on that bag or in their hands. So.
Any other
Anybody
questions?
else? Thank you. And I appreciate the police support, and I know the guys at the department do. You guys have done
We
a great
appreciate
job.
you guys
Thank
too.
Thank you very much for coming up.
Okay. Are you finished with your report, Mr. Carley?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Turn it over to Mr. Fannin, Election Rules and Legislation. Ugh.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We met briefly before the meeting tonight to approve the appointment of Samuel Schmidtgall to the 4-Strong Wing Fire Protection District that was voted on in the consent agenda. And that's all I have to report, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Down to Personnel Committee, in the absence of Mr. Vietti, who is Mrs. Ambrose. I knew that.
We just had a joint meeting with Finance to discuss contract negotiations, and they're still ongoing.
Okay, thank you. Down Veterans Assistance, Mr. Kestner.
The committee met on the 6th. We approved bills that were presented. Also, sadly, we were informed of one of our veterans who the commission has been helping passed away, and that was sort of sad news. Of course, we thank his family for his service to our country. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Moving down to IT Committee, Mrs. Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met on the 7th, and John reported that he replaced the backup appliance and things are working well. A new network connection has been established for the election. This will connect our election server directly to the State Board of Elections. It's kind of a secure connection, same as that of the lead system. He replaced the DVD recorder at the Sheriff's Department. He tested some new equipment at the full board meeting last month. Everything appeared to work well with the exception of the podium camera. And the part-time position has been posted with no inquiries thus far. And he's been monitoring the firewalls based on recent threats. And that ends my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Livingston County Housing Authority, Mr. John Slagle.
Thank you. We met twice. On December 18th, we met a special meeting to approve a $386,000 bid for the modernization of the Odell project. Let's see, we changed the check signing limit. We amended the 5-year plan to include disposition of any housing units. It added that the disposition of any housing units with a negative financial impact on the housing authority may be pursued in the next 5 years. Then we had a regular meeting today that basically all standard stuff. We did approve a new personnel policy so that workers get paid overtime on holidays. And we'll be having another meeting in March of 19th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving down to Mid Central Community Action, Mr. Wilkie.
We met last night and they're very busy with weatherization and helping people with their gas and electric bills. And I need to ask Elena, can we meet here March 18th? That's our next meeting. Okay, that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Board of Health report, Mr. Station.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The board has not met since the last report we had in the December meeting. The only change I would add is the next Board of Health meeting is March 30th. It's been changed from, I think it was the 9th originally, but it's been changed to March 30th. And that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Down to Mental Health Board, Mr. Vietti is not here tonight unless someone has a report. Okay. Now we're down to public comment.
Good evening. Ed Lipinski of Pontiac. First of all, I want to remind board members that you should not be worried about repeating things that you might have said in a committee meeting, because committee meetings are not recorded. Your only record of comment is what you say here. So just a reminder. I know you worry about saying the same thing over and over again, but and I think those public the videos of the meetings are very important. For instance, last month we were not here, but I did watch the meeting, and because of that, I learned from Mr. Slagle that refrigerators from the housing authority were for sale, and I was able to help a friend get a couple of refrigerators. So those things are important, whether you think they are or not. Now, as far as the health and education building, I don't have much. I mean, I don't have any money in this game. My only hope is that you decide to build a building that serves the citizens and the people who work there to the best that you possibly can. You had a very generous and I think reasonable offer from Mr. Opperman, who's been a citizen in this community for a long time, a respected citizen, and I think you need to take the time to consider more than just one option. You're pretty much down to one option now. I think it's unfair to the whole community that is that limited now. And as far as new buildings being perfect, all we have to do is look across the street, and we know that that's not going to be true. There's going to be problems. And if you consider that old buildings are not worth renovating, we wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Joan Pinsky, I have a couple of singular comments. I heard tonight, and I heard actually for the last 18 months. A lot of people on this board believe things. They believe cost. They believe it would be more expensive. They believe there isn't money in the budget. They believe all of those things. As a citizen, I would like to hear more facts. I would like to know there's cost. I would like to know somebody really examined the budget and found absolutely no extra money in it. I would like to know that you can transfer funds when you ask that to be done, not just believe that it isn't. I would really like to know some facts, and I think this board is all intelligent enough. They all have enough wisdom, and this time at least, I saw examples of people really investigating something, looking into it about this building thing. Obviously, the outset your vote was disappointing because you didn't give people, the community, the chance to know those facts first. It was voted on at a meeting at 5:15 and then voted on tonight. I have been asking, as Alina can contribute, I keep trying to get a lot of facts coming from things. I email everybody, I research. Even with emails, there are very few people that are willing to respond and give facts. I think that we have a place to believe things, and there are a lot of signs out there, very popular, that say believe. But I think the public needs some facts from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
discussion? Oh, Christine? Kathy, I do have a couple things. First of all, on the board members' chair, that put the statement of economic interest forms for you, and you fill out something in each one of the questions, the numbers, items, and make sure you sign it and date it on the back, please. And the other thing is, we are in need of election judges. We are having our first schools this Thursday. We need about 90 more. We would really be very happy, and that would pretty much fill all of the spots. I've contacted some of the schools. We have about 15 kids that are interested in helping in that too. So contact our office, and if you know of someone who'd be interested, please let us know and spread the word around to everybody.
Christy, did you say 90 more?
If we wanted to have at least all five, 5 positions filled, we try to have at least 3. We hadn't heard back from some of our senior judges and experienced ones lately. We do have new equipment, which will make it a little easier for the end of the night and during the day and that. We have 3 classes this Thursday, and then we will have more for new judges as probably on some Saturday afternoons or Wednesday evenings or something like that. We haven't determined that. We'll see what happens after this Thursday. So, thank you.
Mr. Weller?
Christy, when it comes to students, is there an age limit on how young a student could be? Or?
They have to be juniors or seniors, and they have to have a B average in school. There's a form that they have to fill out. It has to be signed by the principal as well as the student and the parents. And then we go from there. And in each precinct, we can have a Republican and a Democrat. They have to declare which party they want to represent. And then we can't have, well, we're supposed to have a Republican and a Democrat in each one if we have students there. We can't have like 2 Republicans.
So if you have one student in a precinct, you have to have 2?
No, we can't. I think it was, we can't have any more than 2, and it should be like 1 of each, if possible. Okay. And we try to put them in their home precinct, but if we don't have, an opening there, we will move them, just like we do the seasoned judges too.
So you contact the school administrators? And
I've talked to them. Usually it's a civics teacher or someone that works with the juniors and seniors. And then they spread it around to their friends, and the kids will spread it around to that, because they get paid the same as the adult or the senior citizens. And well, I meant not senior citizens, but our seasoned judges.
Seasoned citizens, yeah.
Our seasoned judges, because the ones that have more experience and have been out there.
I think in some schools, even freshmen and sophomores take, Paul, Mr. Ritter, in some schools, high schools, some of the students in civics are freshmen and sophomores, aren't they?
Yeah, that's correct. And I know that we've reached out, at least at Pontiac Township High Schools are. I got it. I know at Pontiac Township High School, there has been a call for election judges because I know that my daughters have both served. And they actually, while they're still one's in college, still gets the notification to come down and do the same. So it does happen, and I encourage it because my daughter, from a personal standpoint, has an interest in what goes on in Livingston County government, and she talks to me about it. So I think that's a really cool thing, actually.
It's been very well received by the judges. The kids have really, it's been an eye-opener for them, and they've really enjoyed it too. And we've had a few that come back after they've graduated from high school. If they're in junior college or they're going to be home at that time, they'll contact us, and we'll go ahead and place them, somewhere too. So
now, when it comes to those student election judges, I assume that they are never the one that ends up having to make the drive to Pontiac.
no, they're not supposed to, but some of them have come back because they wanted to see what happens in the office once the ballots and that are all coming back. They'd like to see the whole process, and they're all surprised at how much goes on and what happens and what they have to do.
Decent. Extra credit.
Any other questions for Christy?
Kathy?
Yes.
What are the classes?
Pardon me?
When are the classes?
Oh, we'll have the one this Thursday, and there'll be one at 10, 2 o'clock, and 5:30. and they will run through it. It's more for the seasoned judges. And then for the new judges and the student judges, we usually have other classes for them so that we can do an overview of everything with them. And then also we will be having them set up times after the classes so that they can come in and schedule times to come and work on the machines to go through the morning and the evening when they set them up and when they close them down and during the day since it's a new equipment.
All right.
Christy, when is the classes going to be held for the new?
We haven't set up something yet on that. We'll have a makeup for the ones that have been out there before too, but we'll have specific ones for the new judges too.
Okay.
So for the ones that may be streaming here tonight, just get a hold of your office and you will, very good.
That's correct.
Very good.
Bob, thank you.
I assume they get paid for election day, but they don't get paid for the training days.
No, and the term usually is like for 2 years, and at the beginning of the term, they have to take they are mandated to come for the training, and it lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many questions we have from the judges as we're going through the things. Then after that, we always have, it's not mandatory, but a refresher course before each election, because they're only doing this maybe once or twice a year. And we have about 75% will come back to do that and go over it. So, it pays $185. They have to be at the precincts at 5 in the morning to set up everything, so the polls open at 6 and they close at 7 o'clock. And usually they're in, depending on if they have a problem or something going on or how far they have to drive, they're usually all in before 9 o'clock. But depends on the turnout in the precincts too.
Jason?
Not for her.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? If not, need a motion to adjourn. Oh, hold it.
I have one public comment. I know a lot of my fellow board members received from Livingston County Soil and Water Conservation District. Their annual meeting is taking place next Thursday, so if you have not RSVP'd out to Debbie, please do that. But no, it's next Thursday, the 23rd, I think. What's it, Chris, 8 a.m.? 8 a.m. out at the Elks. So if you have not RSVP'd, please get a hold of someone at the Soil and Water Conservation District and attend the annual meeting next Thursday. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Ritter, second. Fannin? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Have a good night.